So Freddie, Barbara, I'm back through a Sharaledon D. Brave profile. So good to see everybody back. All right.
Okay, so today's piece, Sandra Lockett. Hey, Sandra Lockett, what's up? Daniel Black's in the house.
All right.
Daniel, I had a good time on vacation, man. Just got back today.
I told him I actually sat there and saw you on yesterday on Sunday evening that he missed, so he'll have to catch up by seeing it later
today. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I always send your stuff to Mother White Devils. You know she's crazy about you. So anyway, you done stole my mama, boy. But it's all good. Oh, today's piece is entitled Edith's Story. And I'm sure you probably wonder, who in the heck is Edith? Today's piece is entitled Edith's Story. Here we go. I'm going to read it 2 times. Like far too many of us, you don't even know my name. And my story is partially told by those with their own agendas, schemes, and plots. My name is Edith, and I'm Lot's wife, the mother of 4 beautiful daughters, 2 of whom are happily married, and the other 2 are not. The day my city was destroyed, I thought my world was coming to an end. All that I've ever known would be utterly destroyed as we started our journey into the unknown through faith. We were all well aware of God's command, and my 2 youngest were safely with me. The older 2 were with their own husbands, and like any troubled mother, my emotions were all over the place. I had already sent them word to join us, but they were not there when we left the city. I knew the command that was given, yet my mind was bombarded with thoughts of uncertainties. Some may tell you that I was disobedient, that I loved the life we had in Sodom more than God. It really wasn't like that at all. I only wanted my family to all be together again, you see. My firstborn, who initially made me a mother, had a very special place in my heart. And my secondborn, who turned my world upside down, brought me a joy that I've never experienced before. Now here we are, rushing to leave the city, and my oldest 2 are nowhere to be found. Tears rolling down my face, my heart ripped to shreds. I only look back for my babies who were with me no more. Let me read it again. I lost everybody. No biggie. You can come back. Edith's story. Like far too many of us, you don't even know my name. And my story is partially told by those with their own agendas, schemes, and plots. My name is Edith, and I'm Lot's wife, the mother of 4 beautiful daughters, 2 of whom are happily married, and the other 2 are not. The day my city was destroyed, I thought my world was coming to an end. All that I've ever known would be utterly gone as we started our journey to the unknown through faith. We were all well aware of God's command, and my 2 youngest were safely with me. The older 2 were with their own husbands, and like any troubled mother, my emotions were all over the place. I had already sent them word to join us, but they were not there when we left the city. I knew the command that was given, yet my mind was bombarded with thoughts of uncertainties. Some may tell you that I was disobedient, that I loved the life we had in Sodom more than God. It really wasn't like that at all. I only want who turned my world upside down brought me a joy that I've never experienced before. Now, here we are, rushing to leave the city, and my oldest 2 are nowhere to be found. Tears rolling down my face, my heart ripped to shreds. I only look back for my babies who were with me no more.
Wow. You know, the first question I will ask you, because I did go to Genesis 19. I think it's Genesis 19:25, but
okay.
I may have the verse wrong, which I should not. That was very limited in what I could pull. So where did you pull some of your, you care to share?
Yeah, I did a search on Lot's wife.
Okay.
And there are other writings, other theologians or other scholars from the Jewish tradition and from the Islamic tradition
Really?
who has also written about Lot's wife, because Lot is a part of their narrative as well, his story. And so when I read that, that's where I got the name Edith from. I think it was from one of the writings of Judaism. I'm gonna say this: a lot of Western theologians focus on a very conservative, and I'm gonna say a very narrow train of thought, and their whole concept is looking at this from the lens of disobedience, right?
Yes.
And so their whole platform is to show what happens when one is disobedient. Daddy said, 2 handsome, sexy, brilliant black men. Watch out now. So their perspective to me, and y'all feel free to chime in, especially Danny Black, their perspective to me is narrow, because
yes, absolutely.
They are conservative, they are fundamentalist, they're evangelical, and they look at it from the lens of obedience and disobedience, and they fail to dig deeper into what was going on with her that caused her to look back. Because to me, I've learned and I've grown and appreciate that it's a deeper story than at face value. And so with Lot's wife, whom we found out her name is Edith.
Who?
Edith. Edith, Mrs. Edith Lot. So she has a story. And what I do...
but it does make, even what you've already shared, it makes more sense now.
Yeah.
This was a conversation I just had.
Okay, go ahead.
The why. The why.
Exactly, the why.
Why? Okay, we've accepted this woman, look back, she was turned into a pillar of salt, goes right back into the narrative of just punishment.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But
doom and gloom.
We've got a grown woman, her husband is going one direction. Why didn't we ask why? Or why don't we ask why?
Yeah, why don't we ask why? And a part of the reason why we don't ask why is because we've been taught not to question God. That's a part of our own narrative. That's a part of our own narrative that we, Christendom, especially fundamentalists, and especially evangelical mindset, we've been taught not to question God. Now, I'm going through a metamorphosis. Scoot over now. I'm going through a process where I'm literally shedding some of the nonsense that we've been taught down through the years that really doesn't make sense.
And I was, when you just said the nonsense, in my mind, I saw that as 2 separate words.
Go ahead.
And then you go and you say, it really doesn't make sense. Now, that goes right back into when we start to question. We're not, at this point, you're not questioning God. What you're questioning is the powers to be.
Right. Okay. And that's what Danny, thanks Danny. We said we've also been taught that women are supposed to obey. Exactly.
That's straight down the road.
Straight down the road. That's that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. That's a part of that misogynistic mindset.
Oh, yeah.
A patriarchy that women, and even that's why she wasn't even named. Let's go back there. We don't even have a name in our text.
We can laugh about something. So, I mean, it's like I can see misogyny, a man going into the kitchen, his wife may be, acting some sort of way. He look at the salt shaker and say, that's your sister right there.
That's it. That's
it. Don't act up. You better obey.
That's where salt came from. Yeah, but you're right, Danny. You're absolutely right. While women have been taught to stay in your place, and whatever that place is, you stay in it.
But now, one thing you know about me over the years, I love other people's story. Yeah. And so this has actually got me really hyped because she's denied her story. She's denied her why.
Right. Why don't she do it? And all we got from the biblical text is she was disobedient. That's all we got. From what God, I am not trying to go to hell. But all we've gotten from the text that we have,
Of her questioning her husband. This is she was. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. Let me read this one out.
he didn't say cuss word. This.
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't.
If he did, okay.
Yeah. Okay. See, her turning around is symbolic of her questioning her husband. This she must be punished. Now let me interesting.
I like that.
But you know what's interesting about that? Because even Lot had his fears and his doubt.
I'm sure.
She's following him, but she gets punished
right
for her fear or her doubt. But even he had his.
But let's back up.
Okay.
Hey Rodney, one of my new Facebook friends from Philadelphia. Was it really her doubt, or was she looking for her other two daughters?
That's her why.
That's her why. Danny says that, yeah. So Danny, in her turning around, yeah, from Lot's perspective and from quote unquote God's perspective, yeah, she must be punished because the command was, do not turn around. But was she turning around because she was wanting to go back, or did she turn around because she was looking for her other two daughters?
Now, let's stop right here for a second. Let's put a pin in and I'll tell you
Put
why.
a pin in it. Why?
I'm telling you that because I know there are going to be some people that says, when the word of God says this, I don't care what your why or your reasons or your thinking is.
Yeah.
You follow that. So, thank God they ain't judging me.
Donna said, who told her not to turn? Well, good point. Who told her not to turn around? Sounds like she was looking for her older. That's it, Dolores. That's it.
Let me go to that again, because what you just said about the not turning around in Donna's question.
Let me do
You
this.
have it up?
We got some more folk that just signed on. So let me read it again for those who just signed on. Fair enough. Why you looking it up? Okay, y'all. I'm gonna read the piece again. Stop eating. I'm not gonna stop eating. I'm hungry. I just got back from the beach. Let me read it again. This is Edith. Edith's story. Edith is Lot's wife. And this is a piece of poetry I just wrote over the weekend when I was on vacation. A lot of talk fast on it. Okay, here we go. Like far too many of us, you don't even know my name. And my story is partially told by those with their own agendas, schemes, and plots. My name is Edith, and I'm Lot's wife, the mother of 4 beautiful daughters, 2 of whom are happily married, and the other 2 are not. The day my city was destroyed, I thought my world was coming to an end. All that I've ever known would be utterly gone as we started our journey to the unknown through faith. We were all well aware of God's command, and my 2 youngest were safely with me. The older 2 were with their own husbands. And like any troubled mother, my emotions were all over the place. I had already sent them word to join us, but they were not there when we left the city. I knew the command that was given, yet my mind was bombarded with thoughts of uncertainties. Some may tell you that I was disobedient, that I loved the life we had in Sodom more than God. It really wasn't like that at all. I only wanted my family to all be together again, you see. My firstborn, who initially made me a mother, had a very special place in my heart. And my secondborn, who turned my world upside down, brought me a joy that I've never experienced before. Now here we are, rushing to leave the city, and my oldest 2 are nowhere to be found. Tears rolling down my face, my heart ripped to shreds. I only look back for my babies who were with me no more.
Okay, let me answer Donna's question because
Dolores, I got you in a minute. Go ahead.
I will ask her to go to Genesis 19:17, verse 17. It says, as soon as they have brought them out, one of them said, this was the angel, the 2 men. Okay?
Right.
Yeah. It says, flee for your lives, don't look back, and don't stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains or you will be swept away. So to answer your question, you can go to Genesis 19:16 and read that up to the to the 17th verse, and you should get that answer.
Yeah. Dolores, you hear that? Genesis 19:16, where the two angels that went to Sodom and Gomorrah to destroy the city told them to flee and don't look back, based on what God had told them to do. Hey, John, good to see you, man.
John.
So there we have it. Edith looked back, and she did violate the command that was given by the angels. But as Sharaledon said earlier, the why of it, and I don't think this is just me. I don't think it was a case of her not wanting to leave. I think it was more of a case of her looking back to see where her other two daughters were.
You know what's interesting? And this is the danger of what we do. I always say picking and pimping verses, because I just did that, and there's something that was missed. Even if you go back to the 16th verse, where it says, when he hesitated, meaning Lot, the men grasped his hand and the hands of his wife and his two daughters and led them safely out of the city. Now, the reason I'm bringing that point up is because next day, I said, well, how do we know that Lot told his wife? Well, it sounded like they were all there.
Yeah, they were those were together.
Yeah, they were all there. Yeah. So it wasn't like Lot had to then go and say to his wife, and don't look back. No, she heard the same message that Lot and the two daughters heard.
Right. Good point. All right.
Uncle Alfred, good to see you, my brother.
Enjoying this. Can't you sympathize with her? Of course we can.
Oh, that's why we're even here.
This is the human experience.
Yeah.
That God shares or gives us commands, and God gives us desires, and God calls us to do certain ministries or give us our purpose, and sometimes we fall short of that purpose. So yeah, we can definitely sympathize with Miss Edith, because she was given a command as well, not to turn back, right? But she did. But the thing of it for me, though, Pastor Reggie, is why did she turn back, and how often have we turned back? You feel me? That there are times when we've given up and said, when we've looked back and said, did I get everything?
Now you took that to another place, because I was going to take the chicken way out. What's the chicken way out? She was a mother.
She was a mother.
Okay, yeah. Now you took it someplace deeper, because unless you got something you want to share with all of us, I don't think you're a mother.
No. That's what I said.
So let's see. Donna said, that's what I was thinking. The daughters were with them going out. So who was she looking for? No, believe me, there were four daughters, Donna. One of the things he talks about in the poem is the fact that two daughters was with her, two daughters were already married.
Yeah. And the two that was married were not with her. The younger two were with her. Yeah.
Because I read something about the son-in-laws. They were talking about the sons-in-laws of the two older daughter, of course.
I believe so. Yeah. All right. Any more feedback?
Now, I have to do a little bit more research on salt.
Go ahead.
And it's amazing, particularly salt in regards to the Bible, and of course being being used as a preservative. And everything. So I was like, why a pillar of salt?
Why a pillar of salt? Mm-hmm.
Especially when I read about it being used, as a preservative. And so I actually did a little bit more, and I said, let's see, salt. Let me go back. Salt in the Bible. And it says, what does the Bible say about being salt? What is the covenant? Why does God? Oh, that's very good. What is that?
You in trouble. Liza, get him. How could being a mother be taking the chicken way out?
Oh,
Explain
no,
yourself, sir.
Because that was an easier way for, because I believe that she being a mother, that's the go-to. Of course she's going to look for her children. No, he did something a little bit deeper, and I wanted to go there, but I'm saying, she's nothing. Being a mother is a chicken way out. No, I was taking the chicken way out, just not by saying she was just being a mother. I mean, what mother would not look back for their child? Exactly. I'm just glad it's not my mother. I expect her to still be looking back for me. I'm at so many days old. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Was that all?
Did that make sense? That was an easy answer.
Yes, thank you.
Not that
Being a mother.
Edith was chickened.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that was an easy answer for us to say, oh, just her mother instincts kicked in.
Thank you so much.
And she was like, where my babies at? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
No. It's not about her being chicken or fearful. It's about her being, I call her a mother bear, right? All right, Liza, just like when we were at that mountain and we saw that big mama deer come out there, what we did, we backed up. So that's the point I would look at this mom, Edith, in this text, that she was looking back for her daughters, not because that's what mothers do. That's y'all's nature. You're caring, you're giving, and you're protectors. And so she was concerned, I believe, about where are my other two daughters. I know they have their own lives now, but I birthed them. Those are my first two.
yes.
That's my 1 and 2.
Now, I will admit that this is a Google, which, a lot of us live by Google. It says in Matthew 5:13-16 that both salt and light have properties. Now, this is not this is where this person is drawing it from. Let me be clear. This is not the actual scripture. Both salt and light have properties which affect things around them. Salt is used to enhance flavor as a preservative. To be salt means to deliberately seek to influence the people in one's life by showing them the unconditional love of Christ through good deeds. I don't think that was the intention when we talking about Genesis 19. I still believe that was to be used. But then now let me ask this question: even if it was used to be a punishment, could it have been used also to try to influence? What this just said, the daughters.
I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Pastor Richard says, was this a necessary story for the will of God to continue? If so, was God being unfair? See, you're trying to start something.
You tell Rev, I'm gonna bring him on camera. You ain't sticking me out there by myself. I'm just trying to enjoy my fruit.
Good question, and I'm gonna go there. Was this a necessary story for the will of God to continue? Let's go back and look at who wrote it, why it was. You guys in the hot seat. Here we are. Who wrote it? I love it too. Who wrote it? Why it was written, right? And what was the original intent? And I think the original intent, this is just me, goes back to the whole concept of sin, disobedience, which to me, I think a lot of times we look at sin in a very narrow perspective. Sin to me is missing the mark, right? Sin is missing the mark. Whatever that mark is, missing the mark. And that broadens it out for me, where sin isn't just something I did and I messed up. You feel me? Anybody can miss the mark. And it may be something major or not major. In this particular case, the reason, I'm guessing the reason why they felt this was important for the narrative, I don't know. I wonder was because they wanted to show what happens when you miss the mark or when you're disobedient to whatever the command of God is. I should see that now. I got some crazy friends, y'all. Something popped up in my messenger.
That was one of the reasons mine went crazy.
Made me lose my thought. Sorry about that, Reggie. Yeah, but and is God being unfair? I'm going to say God is being God.
All right.
That's what I'm going to say. Whether God is fair or not fair, whether God is just or unjust. In this text, in this context, I don't know. But I'm going to say God is being God. And I do know that when we miss the mark, we do have to deal with the fallout of missing the mark. You feel me?
Yes.
That if I'm supposed to go to South Atlanta and I jump on I-20, then go to 85, or I can go to 85. I got options. But the command may be go down I-20 and I don't, right? And I go to 85 and there's a major accident. I missed the mark, right? It doesn't mean that I'm bad or sinful. I just missed the mark. and I got to where I was trying to go, but I got there late.
But now that brings up a whole nother question.
Right.
You know,
Go ahead.
You said bad or sinful. This is why, and you've made a habit of this, which is a good thing, of writing, especially from the Old Testament. Mm-hmm. That God, and someone asked whether or not God was fair or unfair. In the Old Testament, and there's a lot of us that just carry God as this, this hammer,
this judge.
Yes.
Right.
You know, and not the grace of God.
Right.
Not God's mercy. And so you have some people who still teach and preach from that and leave it there.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't got rid of the whole New Testament.
Right. It's a lot of us. I hate this. I know, y'all. Let me say this. I'm not being judgmental. Let me say that off the bat. Right. I'm not being judgmental. I'm not being critical, but I am being critical of the very thing I love. All right. So a lot of us grew up under this dogmatic, fire and brimstone, damnation theological construct, and it takes a lot of unprogramming or reprogramming to get that out of our psyche, because for some of us that's not healthy anymore, and so we operate out of this fear. And I'm not talking about the fear of God that says, oh, I'm in awe of God, but the fear of God that says, if I do this, I'm scared. I almost said shitless. I cuss y'all. I'm scared shitless, right? Mm-hmm. That I'm not going to do anything because I know God is going to strike me down. That's not the kind of God I serve.
Have not lived. Now, understand what you just said. That's not the kind of God, or that's not the God you serve.
Right.
Wow.
That was...
Some people get very comfortable under that kind of dogma.
Yeah.
But comfortable does not necessarily mean that they're living. Not necessarily mean that they are happy where they are.
Right. And so when we go back and look at this story with Edith, she missed the mark. And as a result of her missing the mark, she paid the ultimate price. And I believe she missed the mark because she was looking back for her daughters. I don't think it was because, as some would say, when I was doing my research, some was saying that she loved her life in the city of Sodom, that she was prosperous, or that the licentiousness that was in the city, the screwing.
Thank you for breaking that word down for me.
The getting it on was what kept them going. And there's some stuff out there, y'all, that goes to the left and goes far to the right about why Lot and Edith both had to be drugged out of the city, because they both were beneficiaries of the stuff going on in the city. Interesting thought, right? But here, I think, this is just me, and I think, and lots of this is, and my pastor can tell you this, I've always had the unction to question what theologians write, because the majority of them write from their own European perspective, and that's not me. I want to understand from my own African American melanin field perspective, and so I question sometimes what they write, and that's what I'm doing with this piece of poetry.
And I'm not trying to be. Yes, I am. Even in their writing, we have to think about where their research is coming from.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about going back to the original finding of scrolls and everything, but a lot of times I don't think they even take it back that far when we're looking at writers that doesn't share my melanin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in all fairness, several do go back and look at the original language, the Romantic languages, the Greek, the Hebrew in this case, right? And they'll look at those words and try and understand the meaning from the original text, right? That was written way back eons ago. So a lot of them have done their due diligence and research. But some also write from their own frame of reference as well, their own experience. And so what I'm doing is I'm sharing Edith's story through my own lens. That's a better way of saying it. And I raised the question when they said she looked back and turned to a pillar of salt. And that's it in the biblical text. So my question is, why did she look back? Regardless of what anyone else has written, why did she look back? And could it have been because she was longing and looking and waiting on her older two daughters to come from out of the city, because she knew the city was about to be destroyed. And she did not want her babies to be destroyed as well.
You know, I'm going to try to do this without putting my size 8.5 in my mouth. Being a parent-minded, my thought would be that she would have been looking for her babies.
Yeah, mine too. Mm-hmm. Mine too. And I reflect on my own mother, and I reflect on many mothers that I know. And working in a hospital, right, I see this all the time. Mothers are the ones who would give up everything and stay in that hospital right next to that baby until that baby, I don't care if that baby is 4 days old, 4 months old, 4 years, 14 years, almost 40. That mama going to be right there with that baby. Hey, Valerie. So that mother is going to be right there with her child.
Yeah, and so understand that when I said she was waiting for her babies,
yeah,
her grown married daughters,
right?
Because I believe, based on the same thing that you just said, I've seen enough. Mm-hmm. And being, again, parent-minded, your children don't grow up in that sense.
Right. I tease my sister-in-law, Catherine. She and Lou has 3 boys. They have 3 boys. I say has. My English is bad. Brandon is 30-something years old. Brian finished the Naval Academy about 2-3 years ago. And Bryson is 26, 27 years old. And to this day, cats still say, my babies. They never grow up. I said, those are grown men. But to her, they are still her babies. Valerie has a couple kids. And I bet you Valerie would say as well that Eric and her daughter, is it Philandria, are her babies.
Yeah. And you know, it's so funny about
He's a pastor of a church.
My grandfather and my other male cousins, my grandfather used to still, in our adulthood, call him my grandbaby boy. And
right.
Just like that. So how many of us have ever been warned by an angel like this, though?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how many of us, but I can tell you that this one here has. And I'm glad you asked that question, Donna, because one of the things I'm dealing with right now, not dealing with, but discovering and evolving into, is understanding when my first thought, when Spirit speaks to me, go with that first mind, go with that first thought, and then, as you said before, when I don't. Yeah. Now, it's not consequences like I might be turned to a pillar of salt,
right,
or even drop dead on the spot or whatever, but I could have saved myself some time and energy.
And some money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 2 things. Two things. And Donna, to respond as well, there have been many times when, be it an angel or be it the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit, nudges me or instructs me, can I do that? And I do it anyhow. And I can tell you the times when I went against it, I paid for it.
Oh, no, I love this one. I go, what message did I get first?
Right.
Girl, you know what
you know what I told you.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to see if you were paying attention.
And another example, this weekend, I was on vacation, right? And I can share this.
Sure.
My whole, this is rated G. Okay. My whole reason for going on vacation and spending time in Fort Lauderdale was to just go to the beach and just relax and chill out and just have some me time with me and Mother Nature and God at the beach. Another part of me wanted to go hang out, but I refused to allow that part of me to make decisions for me. You feel me? Because my original intent was to go, just relax and hang out. So I stayed focused on my original intent. Pastor Reggie, not only her, but why do any of us look back? Will we become pillars of salt? I don't know. We won't be. No. You give me a minute. I'm going to give you 2. No, many of us look back. I look back all the doggone time. I'm human. I think that's part of human nature. That we, like Edith, like Lot's wife, we do look back. Whether it's instinct, whether it's just human nature, or whether it depends on where we are in our own faith journey, right? Will we become pillars of salt? No. But I do believe that there are consequences to our looking. However we look. For every reaction, there's a reaction. If we stay on track and do what the command and fulfill the command, then yeah, we are rewarded for that. If we look back, then we have to deal with the look back.
You know, now
go ahead.
You're funny. So, one of the things I love being able to see his question as text, and it says, "Will we become pillars of salt?" And some of us have. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that, I'm looking at it, not so literally,
right?
But
you just mentioned me. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so I've seen people who spend so much time in their past, their face, they have permanent frowns on their faces instead of being in the moment, that present moment right there. And so, have some of us become pillars of salt? Yes, we have.
You took it to a whole different level.
Yeah,
because I was still looking literal.
Yeah,
but when you look at it from a figurative, metaphorically speaking, that sometimes, oh Jesus, help me Holy Ghost, that sometimes we can get so comfortable in our looking back that we become the very thing we're looking back at.
That's even more.
Right.
That's even more.
Yeah.
That's even
not letting go of the past. Exactly, Lord. Yeah. That we get comfortable in where we are, or that we are set in the status quo, that we don't want to deal with what the unknown may be. And God may be saying, I need you to move here, do this, do that, or the other.
I'm trying to take you someplace.
Yeah, I'm trying to take you to a different level, but you are so comfortable in where you are that you have become, in a sense,
salty, in a sense,
a pillar of salt. Metaphorically speaking.
And I love this piece. I'm gonna get it out, Sharaledon.
Get out.
You're preserving, as salt does, that spot that you're in.
Right.
You're feeding off of that spot that is from your past right there.
And so we're feeding our own demise because we won't let that stuff. I'm thinking about touching the Ark of the Covenant, trying to keep it from falling. We justify what we do sometimes, although God has warned us. There you go. There you go. There you go. We're going deep now. That was Donna.
Donna.
Donna, I love you. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be the last thing you touch.
Right. And again, Donna, it's the consequences. The command was, don't touch it. Right? Don't touch it. But when the person touched it, what happened? Consequences. All of us are salty, but that's it. But for the grace of God. Yeah, we all. Yeah.
But for the grace of God, now, put a pin.
This got good, y'all.
What we got?
Yo, it's almost 7 o'clock. It's 10 till.
Woo! You owe them 5 minutes. I guess we both do. You take 2.50. You take 2.5. I'll take 2.5.
No, that's right.
So, in that piece I said about the staying in that same spot and not being present. I just had something that made a difference in my life. Because I had, in letting go some of the past, those things that I didn't even know was connected to my present, but being able to look back goes back to question earlier, the why. I wanted to know why something was going on in my life that was going on. So I looked back for the why. When I looked back for that why, I got an answer that I never saw coming. It did not turn me into salt. Now, it may have been some sugar because it was a sweet spot. It was a sweet spot. But I had to go there in order to get to that present moment that opened up a greater understanding. Now, that was not what happened with Edith.
Right.
But now it may be happening with us.
Yeah. It's the command and the consequences.
The CC.
The C and the C. But in this story, hey Felicia, Edith, Felicia, we're dealing with Lot's wife. And her name is Edith. So in this story with Edith, this whole piece is about the why. And the reason why I wrote this piece of poetry was to bring her humanity to the forefront, right? Because in the biblical text, her humanity has been denied. Because all we got is Lot's wife and she looked back. Pretty much. That's it about her. And so what I wanted to do was to bring her story to the forefront and offer an alternative to what we have been fed just about her being disobedient only. Right? And so in her Felicia, and in her looking back, I wanted to raise the point of her looking back just wasn't disobedience, or I don't think that was her intent to be disobedient. I think it was looking back for her other two daughters who were left behind with their husbands, and she did not want them to be killed in the destruction of Sodom, and yet here she is. I love that.
Ooh.
You just open the doors of the church.
Okay, so
hold on. Okay, Valerie missed it.
That one.
Valerie missed it. Felicia missed it. Felicia says, "Love looks back." That's it. We can go home now. Love looks back. That'll preach.
Because
Go ahead.
I'm about to say, some people may disagree with that, but love is its own
Yep.
fullness.
Yeah, I'm full
The
blast.
one thing that can't afford to look back is what? Love.
Love gonna look back. And mama's gonna look back for their babies. That's just human nature. That's mama's nature.
Reverend, was it Wilburn?
Yeah.
I think said it earlier. Can we not offer grace? Or can we not offer mercy? That's the only thing I see here. Because if we don't give Edith that opportunity, if we just look and say, the command was do not look back.
Bam, that's it.
Can I tell you something? I hope that no one looks at me and go,
I'm guilty.
I'm out there fighting somebody because they done did something to my child. Yeah. Well, it's wrong to fight.
Yeah, I'm guilty. All right, Valerie, Felicia, I'm going to read it again right quick. We got started late, so we'll go a few minutes past 7 o'clock. Here we go. Edith's story. Like far too many of us, you don't even know my name. And my story is partially told by those with their own agendas, schemes, and plots. My name is Edith, and I'm Lot's wife, the mother of 4 beautiful daughters, 2 of whom are happily married, and the other 2 are not. The day my city was destroyed, I thought my world was coming to an end. All that I've ever known would be utterly gone as we started our journey to the unknown through faith. We were all well aware of God's command, and my 2 youngest were safely with me. The older 2 were with their own husbands, and like any troubled mother, my emotions were all over the place. I had already sent them word to join us, but they were not there when we left the city. I knew the command that was given, yet my mind was bombarded with thoughts of uncertainties. Some may tell you that I was disobedient, that I loved the life we had in Sodom more than God. It really wasn't like that at all. I only wanted my family to all be together again, you see. My firstborn, who initially made me a mother, had a very special place in my heart. And my secondborn, who turned my world upside down, brought me a joy that I've never experienced before. Now, here we are, rushing to leave the city, and my oldest 2 are nowhere to be found. Tears rolling down my face, my heart ripped to shreds. I only look back for my babies who were with me no more.
Now, you caused me to really think back to something that happened probably back in 2002. There were somewhere in the first part of the millennia.
You're welcome, John. Go ahead.
Thank you. There was a hurricane that was coming up the coast. I don't remember which one it was. But because I lived in the Atlanta area, sometimes some family members would come, and bunk out with me.
Right.
Because I'm from the coast of South Carolina.
Right.
And I remember, I think my mom got here, some other family members, and I'm like, I'm looking for another family member who is not with them.
Right.
And I'm like, why is she not with you all? And so, talking about in-laws and everything, well, this person did not come. I'm trying to keep this, too many people know who I'm talking about. But
keep it G-rated.
Yeah, but the reason she did not come was because her husband's family did not leave the coast. I was young, and I'm all about my family.
So you were hot.
I was hot. I called her, and I was like, listen, I don't remember if I had her quit her husband, but I remember telling her, you let him know that's his family that decided not to to come up here.
Right.
I don't ever want to hear about you staying because his family made the decision that affects my family.
Right.
You know, and I mean, it had gotten to the point where the fire truck, what do you call the people, the people that stayed behind to make sure everybody got out safely and all of that.
All the workers.
Yeah, they had decided, look, if y'all down there, y'all on your own at this point.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Valerie. Felicia, beautiful, yeah. And Valerie says, you're absolutely right, correct. I'm going to look back for mine. Yeah, that's what a mother would do. Your boy John says, thank you, too, for this enlightening conversation. You're welcome.
John,
you're welcome.
Tuning in, my brother.
Dolores is my homegirl. She lives here. She says she's agreed. This is a hard thing. Abraham obeyed God in slaying his own son. Yeah, he took him to slay, but it didn't kill him because there was a ram in the bush. But you're right, Donna. That's old folks say. That's a bitter pill to swallow. When God gives you a command, and the command may go against everything you believe, and the command may be to give up the very thing you love.
Now, let me stop you something you just said. When you said God gives you a command, everything, but I see something else in that, against everything that you believe. And I think that's when you have to go from faith, from believing to knowing. Because let me tell you, I was one that did not take risks. I waited until I got into
Genesis 19, the story of Lot's wife. Patricia, go ahead. Hey, Pat.
Yeah, when I go back to becoming more of a risk taker, I have to admit, life is a whole lot sweeter because I've pushed the envelope on what God shows me sometimes instead of just going, let me take a look at this. But like you said, sometimes it's hard to swallow those things that Spirit will put before you.
It is. It's talk about conviction, especially when it's something that you love and something that you desire, but it might not be the thing that God has for you. You feel me? That's a big ouch there.
Oh.
It's the very thing. Oh my Lord, have mercy, Pastor Reggie. I gotta go to confession. Sometimes it's the very thing that we love, right? But it's not the thing that God has for us. And God is saying, let that go. Don't look back. Let that stuff go. I know, man.
No, I'm looking at you like that. See, you're not the only one being convicted there. But let me just say this. I have finally learned to do that.
Yeah, it is hard.
It is hard. I won't say it's not hard. But I've had the lessons enough time to know that if I do it right the first dang on time,
it's a wrap. Yeah. Allison, what's up, Allison? Yeah, and what's unique, though, let's take it from the lighter side. All right. Y'all know I've been jogging and walking and climbing the mountain. As a matter of fact, I was in Fort Lauderdale for the last 5-6 days. And I ran on the beach and trying to work out and do all that good stuff. And Lord knows I went to this restaurant and got me some tiramisu that I shouldn't have eaten. I had some chicken parmesan yesterday.
Pictures up and everything. Let everybody know how bad you were sinning, missing the mark.
Yeah, and I'm trying to eat healthier. And as soon as I've been on vacation, I'm buying bagels for breakfast every day in the room and got my cream cheese because the restaurant was closed due to this pandemic for breakfast, but they did lunch and dinner. But they were closed for breakfast. So there are some things that I ate, right? Some choices that I made in my dining that really didn't fit what I'm trying to do with my body. You with me? I look back. Exactly. I look back. There's some choices I made eating, and God knows that stuff was good, right? It was good. It was so good that one morning I ate too much. I'm going to leave it at that. And so, but it's something as simple as that, y'all, that we are given a desire or command to do one thing, right? Or I say I'm gonna get this body back in shape, and I'm doing good with it. But I say I'm gonna do A, B, C, and D, and boy, before I got to B, something popped up, and that something caught my eye and took me off track, right? And that something tasted good for the moment.
We're also talking about food, right?
Yeah, about food, metaphorically speaking.
Okay.
And the something tasted good just for that moment. But after the moment was over, I ended up with an upset stomach. You feel me? If I hadn't partaken of that particular something, then I wouldn't have had to deal with what I had to deal with. Something as simple as that, right? When we look at food and health. Now take it to a different level. I'm going there. Sometimes we want to hook up with the wrong person.
Why are you getting it?
I'm going there. And sometimes everything that is good for you, is good to you, everything that's good to you, that's it. And sometimes simple satisfaction enjoyment gives us something bad. Exactly. And sometimes we choose. We see that ornament on the Christmas tree, right? We'll see that ornament on the tree, that perfect ornament that glitters and it's just beautiful. But when you take it off the tree and you really look at it, you see how fragile it is, or you see some of the flaws in it, but it's hidden by all the stuff that makes it shine.
Wow.
My God, come on now.
Wow.
So it's hidden by all the glitter, all the glitz,
wow.
Right? And when you really look at it, you're like, this juice ain't worth the squeeze. This is a mess. And what am I doing entangled with this mess? Because I just left this mess 5 years ago.
Okay, all right. Listen.
I left this mess 5 years ago, so here this mess got snuck back up in here. Yeah, we done left Edith altogether, I think.
You not find yourself entangled again.
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you, I'm so glad, and the only person I can blame for that is me. I know the whole story. See,
exactly.
I know.
We wrote the book. We know our story.
Yeah.
And we know.
And this is why remember I started off by saying I had an issue about Edith not having a voice, not having her story told.
Right. And that's what we're doing here. I wanted to share what
Edith's
I believe.
Story is our story. It's
Edith's
our story.
The man in the mirror, exactly. Yeah, Edith's story is our story. Edith's story in this text of looking back, regardless of the circumstances, is the story of humanity. If we didn't look back, we would not have a need for a savior. There you go.
I started to run, but then I realized that the last door was closed.
It's the glass door. That's the second story level deck.
Yeah.
If we did not look back, if humanity did not look back, there would be no need for a savior. Calm down, Brave.
That's my son.
Yeah. All right, y'all. That's what this is all about.
Wow.
This got good today.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Give me some hearts if y'all enjoyed it on both.
Oh yeah, make sure you
technological things
on Brave. And it will be. I will post it to YouTube, so that we can share to anyone from there as well.
Donna says, "Been that, done that." It's in my book, The Mask of Many Faces.
Oh yeah, and Donna does have a book, and it is the title The Mask of Many Faces.
Cool.
Please check her out.
This is a friend of Sharaledon's. Yeah, we got his cell phone up and I got my phone up because we hadn't figured out. I'm old.
I ain't trying to figure it out now.
I'm old and I ain't figured out Zoom just right. So Donna Rutherford, RUTHERFORD, has a book out entitled The Mask of Many Faces. And I think she's saying what we're talking about now, the theme of it is in her book as well. So if you want to support her. Great discussion. Thanks, Pastor.
Absolutely, man.
Good. So thanks, Lois. All right, Felicia.
Man,
this might be a better time, man.
See,
you know that this time for you, 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yes, it is. Well, listen. Let's.
We play by ear.
Yeah.
But we got
No, and I'm loving the fact
Yeah.
that it's a lot easier.
It's much. We have more down.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I am so glad to be before you all, Kenneth. We were all blessed that you had a wonderful vacation. We're assuming and got back here safely and everything. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. I mean, I actually had a really good time. Now Edith has not only a voice, but she has a name.
Right, she has a name, and she has folk who is in her corner.
Now, whatever you do next month, please make sure that you stay off of my toes and off of my pews.
Look, I was on my own feet.
Yeah, man.
I think next month we're gonna deal with Noah. Did we do Noah already?
No.
Noah's story. All right. And what I want to do, I do this every time. I'm going to stick. We were supposed to done Tamar so today, but I got caught up with Edith, with Lot's wife, and I just felt that more today.
So let me ask you this question before you go any further. Then, were you going by what the Spirit said for you to go, or were you okay? So there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
No excuses, no reasons.
Because even when I got up today, I told you to look up the text on.
Oh yeah.
So that was my.
I thought you were trying to set me up.
Oh no.
You know why? You need to go back and look at that text. I'm reading that. I'm reading that text. And they ain't got nothing to do.
One little verse.
No, it wasn't even that. You gave me the wrong. You didn't give me the wrong book. You gave me the right book.
Wrong chapter.
And I think it was just a thing of texting the numbers. And I'm like, okay, you're trying to set me up.
Okay, y'all. Let the Spirit lead you. Of course. What's next, Pastor Red? This is what's next. Next month, I'm trying to decide. We're gonna talk offline. The last Monday of August, we're gonna do Noah's story. I'm gonna read the first stanza.
Is that a holiday? Oh no, that's September. Never mind, that's September. Okay.
Here's the first stanza of Noah's story. Put yourself in my shoes only if you are able. The world as you knew it completely destroyed. Those whom you loved and knew, and those who made a mockery of you, washed away in the flood waters, never to be seen again. Put yourself in my shoes only if you are able. The world as you knew it completely destroyed. Those whom you loved and knew, and those who made a mockery of you, washed away in the flood waters, never to be seen again.
We usually forget to ask this, but we must do it the next Monday that we're on. We invite you to share, but I would love for you to share while we're actually doing the broadcast.
Yeah.
If you hit your share button, even during the broadcast, you bring in even more people. And not that the algorithms are going to break. If we're going to break the algorithm or anything, but it'd just be nice to have that many more people to engage. Engage with each other. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because this is all about just sharing perspectives and being respectful of other people's points of view, and just having fun with this thing. This really is Bible study in a different format. I'm using poetry to bring up biblical narratives, and we're looking at it through a different lens and giving people a chance to just share it. We're gonna learn how to Zoom by next month, Reggie.
Don't be giving us homework.
Look, we're gonna pray about it. Let's spirit as Pat says, let's spirit leaders, right? We're gonna master Zoom, get some young folk up in this camp. All right, y'all. Thanks again.
The last time we tried to Zoom, we were trying to Zoom from 2 different locations. Now, if you want to try to Zoom from this one location, would be, so the only problem we would have then making sure we have them in on us instead of we trying to get in ourselves. So, Pastor Wilmer, it's doable.
It's doable. And what we'll do, we'll set it up early enough that if it doesn't work, we'll just go Facebook Live.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So guess what? We'll see you guys on next
Zoom.
On Monday of August.
Yeah.
Which is what? Come on, Brave, you got it right here. Not like you all can't figure that out.
Hope y'all enjoyed this today. I know I did.
So
Zoom it. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Woo-hoo.
Oh, so that's today.
That's July. August
30th. Yeah, it should be August 30th, yes.
August 30th. We're going to say 6 p.m. for now. All right? August 30th, Monday, August 30th, 6 p.m. for our next Cafe Chats. Thank you all for joining in. All of Sharaledon's peeps on his page, thank you guys for joining in. All the folk on my page, thank you all for joining in. Pass the word. You can, like Sharaledon said, you can still share this now with your friends, anybody. And next month,
thanks, Reese.
We'll be back.
Show, yeah.
Thanks, Reese. That's your
my son. Yes.
Hey, son. Hey, nephew. We got to meet one day.
Look, just for those, thank you. That's all I'm going to say to that. I don't have to defend nothing.
Oh yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start by signing off here. You can sign off on yours.
Yeah.
I will see you. And he is Kenneth. Kenneth, what's your last name again?
Hammond.
All right. Thank you. And I'm Sharaledon Brave. Take care. Let's talk about what's good on.
You got it, nephew.
All right. So we'll talk to you guys on the 30th of August.
Eastern time.
Thank you. Eastern.
All right.